Okay, so Jeb Henserling, I was starting to tell you about this. This is, a Republican from Texas, fairly high-powered, been around Congress a while. He's a mover and a shaker. He was part of the caucus room conspiracy back in 2009. He was one of those guys, one of those 17 guys who got together and said, we are going to destroy the Obama presidency for the next 4 or 8 years, preventing from doing anything. He's the head of the House Financial Services Committee. He's the chairman. And this from this article, alliedprogress.org, the financial services industry has spent at least now keep in mind, I was reading you the millions of dollars, Joni Ernst getting $3 million, Tom Tillis getting $4 million from the NRA. And then, just by coincidence, of course, voting to let the rivers of blood continue to pour on our streets. But that's millions. Consider this. The financial services industry has spent at least $3.25 billion on campaign contributions, lobbying, and other political efforts to influence Congress since Dodd-Frank was signed into law. Representative Henserling would announce his intentions to gut Dodd-Frank. He has received nearly $5.5 million in campaign contributions from key financial industry interests since 2010. Furthermore, as this report details, Henserling's House Financial Services Committee. Now, keep in mind, this is the committee in the House of Representatives that's supposed to be the gatekeeper for all legislation having to do with finance, right? Having to do with your savings, having to do with your investments, having to do with your or your kid's college fund, having to do with your retirement funds. He's in charge of that committee. You following me on this now? This is the committee that writes the laws, right? They all have to originate in the House of Representatives, and this is the guy who runs the committee, Jeb Henserling, in addition to being one of the traitors who was part of the caucus room conspiracy. Now, just consider the people who are working with this committee. This report details how many of his staff. These are the people who work for Jeb Henserling, have investments in the financial services industry or have taken junkets paid for by the industry. These are the staff members. And I'm not going to mention their last names because, I'm not sure that a staff member is a public figure. And you can't vote a staff member in or out. So this is really on Jeb Henserling's watch, but I'll just give their first names. Susan, you can read the article. It's over at alliedprogress.org/research/Henserling revolving door. Susan was an analyst at the AIG Group, investment group from 2006 to 2008. In 2013, she was a counsel in the U.S. House Financial Services Committee, then lobbied later that same year and in 2014 for the Financial Services Roundtable. That's one of the groups, by the way, that's suing to end Dodd-Frank. She's on his staff. Since mid-2013, she's also been the executive director of Advocates for Insurance Modernization. You can guess what that is. So there's Susan. Then there's Peter. Peter was the vice president of the commodities compliance at Goldman Sachs from 2005 to 2000. Now, keep in mind, these are the staff. These are the people who are working on the committee that makes the laws that regulate the safety of your retirement funds and your kids' college funds and your savings account, your checking account. Peter was the vice president of commodities compliance at Goldman Sachs from 2005 to 2007. He was an attorney at Brickfield, Burkett, Ritz, and Stone PC from 2008 to 2010, a firm that worked in part on mergers and acquisitions and regulatory compliance. From March 2013 to May 2014, Haller was a senior counsel at the U.S. House Financial Services Committee. Since 2014, he's been managing member of Hill Strategy, LLC, this is a corporation which assists financial institutions and energy companies in communications with Congress, regulators, and the press. One of his clients is the IEX Group, which is currently seeking approval to become a registered national securities exchange. Here's another one, Travis. Now, I've got 7 pages of these people. There's no way I'm going to get through the whole list. Travis was the general counsel of the U.S. House Financial Services Committee from January 2013 to February 2015. In 2016, he became the executive director of the Center for Capital Market Competitiveness. Same year, he's registered to lobby for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce on Sarbanes-Oxley. Then there's Anne Marie. She was the senior counsel to the U.S. House Financial Services Committee in 2013. In 2014, she registered as a federal lobbyist for Wyndham Worldwide Corporation, the Santa Barbara Tax Products Group, and Alvera. There's Ann Bartlett. That's her first and middle name. She was the U.S. House Financial Services Committee Operations Manager from January 2013 to January 2015. She became the Government Relations Coordinator for the Consumer Bankers Association in January 2015. Has been a registered lobbyist for the organization since 2015. Are you starting to notice a pattern here? I mean, I could spend the next half hour and read you the list and all these names. But the bottom line is this is the chicken coop, and every single one of these people are the foxes.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-808-9925.
And who runs the chicken coop? Jeb Henserling, the Republican from Texas. Brilliant.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.